Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Liverpool Latest. My name is Matt, and I have two reasons why I'm in a good mood this episode. One, my new Mohamed Salah shirt will be in the mail very soon and at my doorstep, so I will have more merch to sport as I talk to you guys here every single day. And two, we beat Inter Milan today in the Champions League, which personally I did not expect the team to do at all. I was very pessimistic going into this match, and lo and behold, thank you for what I thought was a very soft penalty to get Szoboszlai to get in penalty position, score a goal, and once again, the Hungarian Superman gives me another reason to hope again. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you guys. I have not watched the full match. I've seen the highlights on YouTube. I don't have access to the Champions League right now, as I typically say, so don't expect some full, in-depth analysis. What I will say is, from what I saw, because obviously it's highlights, it looks like we did a decent amount of attempting to score throughout the course of the match. However, the consensus online that I have read as the match was going on in real time, some fans believe that we are just boring now. And I use boring very loosely, although I can't help but agree at times with the way we set up our scoring opportunities. I don't know what it is, because I remember a long time ago, long time ago was only last year, it feels like an eternity, we were talking about slot ball and how the passing and the setups and the scoring, how that was going to be big for Liverpool. Unfortunately, this season, that has not played very well into our favor. As a matter of fact, I would argue that there's too much passing going on and too many back passes to the defenders or even the keeper in Alisson or Mamardashvili when he was in net. And that kind of kills the press and the attack, leading us to have to start from square one again. Apparently, some people said that was quite often happening in the match, and I've noticed it during the Premier League matches. It's very frustrating to see. It reminds me of, well, many other teams that I enjoy. Let's, for the record, mention the New York Rangers, who I've watched all my life. I've watched them pass the puck on the ice needless times, especially during a power play, when they don't have to, instead of trying to attempt to make a shot, letting the goalie make a save, maybe get a rebound, and get a goal off of that. I've seen a lot of that happen. They don't shoot the puck, is my point. And I feel like that's the problem Liverpool is having right now, is that they are not trying to score more. As a matter of fact, they're taking too much time trying to set up goals as opposed to trying to even attempt to score one in the first place. So, I don't know. I don't feel ecstatic about the win. Like, I'm happy we won, but, you know, it could have been better. You know, some people are saying we used to have entertaining goals, and I feel like, or entertaining games. And I feel like some of those fans, and this is just my honest opinion, some of those fans that I follow when I look at their content online, I feel like they're relying too much on the entertainment aspect of football as opposed to the tactical grindiness that it could lead to. It's kind of like not regular football, but it's kind of like American football. You're not always going to have these air raid games where it's bombs being thrown for 40 or 50 yards down the field, receivers making incredible plays. It's not going to be a offensive heavy game. Sometimes there's going to be a defensive heavy game too. And this was one of those times where, thankfully, the defense held up and they played their part. Alisson did pretty solid, and I can't complain too much. But I will agree to some extent that our setups are becoming increasingly too long. But there is one positive outside of the win that I could talk about, and that was the formation. Gee, what formation did we use today? to win us the game. Why, what's on my screen? A 4-3-3? Something I've been begging Slot to use all season? And he finally uses it and we actually get a good result? Oh my god. It's almost like this was what we were meant to be playing with. But tactics are tactics. Maybe their formation worked to that favor, or the formation we used as in Inter Milan's, what was that, 3-5-2, excuse me. Jesus Christ, that is an ugly looking setup, but was effective for them for a while up until that penalty. So either way, whatever both teams were doing were working up until about the 88th minute when it all went downhill for Inter. So anyway, I can't say too much more about the game. I didn't watch the whole thing outside of the highlights. So if you watched the match, what do you think down in the comments below? Because I'm curious to know what any viewers saw today, because I'm in agreement about the boringness of how we play. Even when we lose, it's boring. Our setups and the way we play now. So, as considering all the striking talent we have on the team, it's very concerning, to say the least. What's also concerning is Jamie Carragher. This guy just really hates Mohamed Salah. Okay? It's almost kind of pathetic, in a sense. I was reading this story today as I was getting ready for information to put onto the Liverpool Latest video of this episode, and I don't know what the fuck Carragher's problem is with Mohamed Salah, because he apparently went on like some 8-minute rant in some studio or some show somewhere about how what Mo Salah did was a disgrace, how he did this deliberately. He's doubling down on all his negative opinions that he's had on Mo Salah, especially since this whole incident has gone down. He's criticized the comments he's made. He's saying that he's being selfish. It's about him and it's about me in terms of Salah, and it's affecting his legacy and so on and so forth. He's not the biggest star in the league to even have this opinion of himself. I could go on and on and on, but then this video would be another 25-minute deal like it was yesterday. And I'm not going to do that to you. So what I am going to do is kind of explain to you why I find this behavior to be quite odd, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. You might as well just call him a slur, Kara. Like, you might as well just call Mohamed Salah a slur at this point, because that's essentially what we're getting towards. That's like the next step of this petty bullshit that he's doing. Even today, when Mohamed Salah posted a selfie of him in the gym at Liverpool, weights and bars all around, just a typical selfie, nothing too special. But it was nice to see that he's doing okay. He seemed like he was in good spirits, given the photo. It looked like he was smiling. And Carragher is just making this really weird comment on social media, and it's just so fucking bizarre. And he says, "I'm not sure I've wanted Liverpool to win a game more than tonight for a long time. Come you mighty Reds." I guess it's because Mohamed Salah is sitting at home for this one? Like, what is the point of him tweeting this? People all over the place were like, Jesus Christ, guy, like, get the fuck over it. This is a level of petty that's almost pathetic. I mean, 50 Cent's level of petty with Diddy is almost, that's legendary pettiness and hating. This is just sad. Carragher's hating on Salah is just sad. Like I said, not that I condone it, but you might as well call him a slur at this point, because that's all you have left to do. I mean, considering the guy has 11 goals in his career and 7 of them are on goal on his own side, I don't know what he has, and he's never won a Premier League championship, or to my knowledge, any title. I don't really know what he has to say that's so important that makes him above Mohamed Salah, because Mohamed Salah has won championships, and he's won the Golden Boot Award last year. He's one of the greatest players in the Premier League right now, even though he's down the form. So I don't know what Kara's on about. It's strange, to say the least. So I think he needs to stop being, as what you Brits call, a fucking knob, and get over it. And this is, if anything, he's just proving Salah right, that he's just talking. He's not saying anything of worth. He's just talking, and no wonder Salah is getting upset, because we have dickheads like this guy running around. At this point, does he even like the team? Because apparently he's always pro Liverpool and shit. But except when it's about Mohamed Salah, he's going to be negative towards the team, and he's going to have all this shit to say. Like for a guy that played for the team for quite a long time, he's got a lot of bullshit to say negatively about us, which I think is kind of sad. I mean, some positivity could be useful every now and again, Kara. I mean, for Christ's sake, again, you have 7 own goals. Like, that's pathetic. You have to be an absolute knob to fucking score on your own side. So that's all I have to say about that. Some other news in regards to social media. About Mo's post, actually, and how this is kind of the story I want to take with it. Likes and comments towards a post does not equal taking sides against any particular person in this situation. You know, there have been a lot of people that have liked or positively reacted to that post that Mohamed Salah had. Allison Becker, Robertson, Szoboszlai, Kirkez, even guys who aren't even on the team currently. Harvey Elliott, Simicast, Davies, and probably most notably, Henderson, as far as the past players go. You know, Henderson commented with a heart. Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know, liked and had an endorsement towards him on the post. It's nice that people are supporting Salah, given the whole situation that has happened this week. Okay, but and they have a desire to keep their relationship that not only do they have with him, but they have with the club intact. Granted, I still think Allison's comments have a lot of weight to them yesterday that I talked about, where he was, you know, defending Salah as a person, but I think it was I think he could have handled it maybe just a little bit better, and he knows the consequences of those actions of how he handled it. So, like I said, you know, people can leave a like and comment about it, but I don't think that's necessarily taking sides. I think people are reading too much into it. These are people that are chronically online, mind you, and they have nothing else better to do but to talk about the club and follow every little thing that's happening on social media. I work for a living outside of doing Liverpool Latest, so I don't have the opportunity to be on my phone all that much. When I am trying to pay attention to the best of my ability, hence why I try to give you guys quality content every day. But there are some people, regardless of any sport or activity, that are just a little too much online, and they read into every little thing, and I think the whole, especially the Henderson and Trent comments and likes, they were like, oh, you know, he's supporting Salah, or they're against Slot. Come on, man. At this point, I don't even think it's a Slot versus Salah issue. I mean, at least it seems like it's going to die down sooner rather than later. Slot wants this to end, it seems, but he wants Mo to apologize to him. No player has even criticized really Salah as far as negatively. I mean, Allison was probably the closest we came to criticism, and even then, he never really said anything specifically negative. I mean, after all, this is, again, Slot versus Salah. The tensions between these two. Not Salah versus the teammates, not Salah versus the club. So it's nice that the teammates support him in what's going on, but I also think that it is that the dressing room needs to move on right now and focus on things. Hence why they had a big win today. So, you know, they know Salah made a mistake in the eyes of at least the club, and they want Slot's authority respected. Why? No fucking idea. But it seems like that's going to be happening. I mean, nobody seems to be backing the comments of being thrown under the bus, and it doesn't seem like the mutiny that at least I sort of hoped to happen, isn't going to happen. And that means Salah is probably the Salah revolution that was attempted will probably die down quicker than we all anticipate. And whether or not that is a good or bad thing for the season or the team is still yet to be known. But like I said, a social media post does not garner any sort of weight whatsoever unless they're actually talking about the situation. Salah just posted a photo of him working out. I know 30 muscleheads that work out at my gym that I work at that do the same thing. It's no different. So, anyhow, I've talked about how Kara has been an absolute bitch on social media. Steven Gerrard has now chimed in on this whole situation. And he seems to be kind of on the side of Salah, or at least against what Rooney said. Because what I said, I talked about Rooney's comments yesterday and how, Slot needs to make a big how he said that Slot needs to make a big decision and how Salah is not helping the team on a defensive standpoint. Keeping him in the lineup is sending a bad message. He's just more or less holding the team back in terms of everything. And this is just another, icing on the cake as far as negative opinions on the club goes. But it seems like Gerrard is contradicting that opinion that Rooney had. And he is emphasizing that, dropping Salah at least continuously at this point, because it's already happened 3 times, if not 4 if you count today. Dropping Salah is going to send the wrong message to the team. After all, I've said this before and I'll say it again, the offense more or less runs through Slot, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. So when he's not on par, the team isn't up to par. As well as, Chiesa. He's an impact player, but he's not a starter. So obviously he's not going to be someone that starts many games, at least not against really good teams. Other guys like Rio are far too young. So the current form is just too fragile to bench proven players like Salah, but doesn't mean Slot can't rest him occasionally. In addition to that, Steven Gerrard also mentions how he's a Liverpool icon. He understands the club culture, having been a part of it for so long. After all, he's probably one of the most beloved players in recent memory that I can think of or that I've seen talked about. And he knows how players, or at least great players, behave under pressure. So because he's so respected, people are kind of taking his opinion a little bit more, I don't want to say positively, but respectfully than Rooney's, because, well, Rooney's from Manchester United, so he'll say anything negative about Liverpool or Salah if it meant the rivalry staying alive and printing money out of it. So I think that Gerrard, I think is a little more rational in his take. I think Rooney was a bit harsh in his comments. I think the weight and the recentness and the heat of everything kind of got to everybody's head there. I think after a couple of days and how things have died down, I think Gerrard is probably a good take, at least from a Liverpool side of things. So he's not necessarily disparaging Salah, but I think he also understands that his form hasn't really been up to par. So resting him every now and again isn't necessarily a bad thing. But doesn't mean that he's not a quality player. At some point when he was getting, benched, it almost felt like it was a personal thing. And frankly, up until that Leeds game, I thought it was a personal attack towards him. And Salah certainly felt that way too, or else we wouldn't be talking about this situation to begin with. But I think Gerrard might even be talking just fan service, to be honest, for the Liverpool fans, because they need to hear some positivity. So that could also be a factor in that as well. But the fact that he is a voice that fans can actually trust is in fact helpful, considering how Carragher is hanging from the ball hairs of Salah for no reason whatsoever. Rooney has a hard-on for the club as far as hating goes. So I'm not saying I'm not concerned with their opinion, because I like to listen to various, even if it's different opinions of myself, as anybody should in life. Echo chambers are not a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm also going to take Gerrard's comments with a grain of salt and say, okay, I see where he's coming from. Do I fully agree? Not necessarily. But that also doesn't mean that Rooney and Carragher are necessarily wrong either. Some of their points do kind of stand too, as far as the selfishness factor goes. So that's all I really have to say today on Liverpool Latest. I thank you very much for stopping by. Unfortunately, this will be my last episode for a couple of days, because I'm going to be on vacation. And unfortunately, I cannot bring my entire computer rig to my hotel room, so you'll be without me for a few days, which means I'll be missing the Brighton game to talk about in real time. But as soon as I come back, I will try to get to everything that I have missed, at least to the best of my ability, the major stories of the week and weekend. And I hope you guys have a very happy and safe day. And regardless of whether we win or lose against Brighton on Saturday, I'm going to be getting very inebriated. So possibly out of sadness for it being Salah's last game for the club, allegedly. So thank you guys for watching. And of course, you'll never walk alone.